Hello, everyone. My name is Michel Besner. I'm the VP of Product at Preview 3D, and glad to see you here today. I'm with my colleague, Philippe Bedard, our product manager here in the company, and we're going to go through a bunch of stuff. Hey, Philippe, how's it going?
Hey guys, I'm good, and you?
I'm pretty good. It's a lovely Wednesday today with nice weather out there. So,
Yeah, for sure. Yeah,
so we're going to cover a lot of stuff. Maybe a good background review of the whole product because we made a lot of changes in the next release. And a lot of it is performance improvements, a lot of things that we made, improving the quality of certain things. And so it's not as obvious to demonstrate. So we'll just use this webinar to go through an overall review of what the product does. And we'll talk about some of the improvements as we go around it. For anyone listening in, feel free to ask some questions. We love to get some input and make this a bit more interactive. We don't like to talk to each other just like without interaction. So please feel free to step in and have some questions. So I guess we could start sharing your screen, Phil, and go about certain things. Obviously, a lot of what we're going to show you is how well we're able to treat reality capture data, creating the best looking meshes out there that makes the whole process of dealing with reality capture a lot more efficient, faster, and actually much better visually looking than dealing with complex, heavy point clouds. So here we're seeing, I'll let you take it.
Yeah, sure. So over here we see our new reality platform where we can organize our reality capture data within different sites. So as you can see over here, we have like different divisions that contain sites, so you can easily manage your reality capture data per sites now. So as we can see over here, we do have like the RSW full firm dataset. From there, we can import point cloud. We can convert them into a 3D model automatically. And afterward, we can create multiple design projects where you can quickly access them on the web version.
Yeah, we want to thank Alan 3D that provided that specific data set. It's really cool when we have our partners and customers give us data sets we can showcase. So first off, like you can see, like right there, like it was really quick to load this whole data set mesh into the environment, and very interactive when you use Preview 3D. It's something that's quite unique. A lot of products try to do the same, and they're not as efficient in displaying a lot of data and the quality of it.
Yeah, exactly. So we preserve the highest quality as possible for the mesh model. We have our own tiling system. So as you can see, it's super efficient. As I start walking inside the scene, the resolution change in front of me based on my point of view. So we always display the highest quality level as possible.
Exactly. Actually, speaking of the tiling system that we have, actually one of the new features, we're not going to show it, but we're going to talk about it, is that now from the platform, you're able to generate OGC 3D tiles, also known as the cesium tiles, and export that if you want to bring our data to other systems. Like, for example, we had recently a customer wanting to bring this to Amazon Web Services TwinMaker. So we're able to export OGC tiles and bring that over there. So there's more and more of these integrations that we're doing with our platform.
And from the web version, we also have access to the 360 picture that were captured on the sites from the terrestrial scanner over here. So we can switch between pictures. So sometimes there might be some missing details. You might be able to catch them with the 360 picture if needed. And you can also take measurements pretty quickly. So it's quite useful. And it's easy to share as well with all your colleagues. So the reality capture data become accessible to everyone now. Typically, it was only reserved for very technical people, and now we make it available for everyone.
Absolutely. And one thing we've changed recently is that RealityPlatform, so basically the web component of our product, there's no more per user fees, right? So you can have unlimited users on the web platform. So if you want to share projects, you want to use this for virtual visits, do measurements like Phil just did here, you want to share some of your design layouts to all your colleagues as you're redesigning or planning for a turnaround project in your facility, So the platform, basically, there's a subscription based on the amount of data that we're hosting, like a bit like a Dropbox type of, like you pay for amount of data you're hosting and processing, but then there's no cost on a per user basis. So you can have like hundreds of users, and we also support single sign-on. So for the enterprise, you want to bring in all your employees into the web platform and access your sites. With the new site breakdown that we have, you can have people accessing specific sites, specific areas, and then use this to share and collaborate with the free, no cost per user on the web platform, which is a really cool addition we've done recently. So maybe we'll go to the desktop application just to show some more the heavy lifting engineering tools that we're doing. That's basically our core, our bread and butter. I would say, like, we're really good at taking 3D reality capture data and to be able to do something about it. Like, not just to be able to view it and measure it, but also to be able to take the data and do a few things. And one thing we'll show you, and it's really important, is like, if you think about a point cloud data set or even like a mesh data set, it's a very unstructured data model. It's visually, our eyes, our brain is telling us that we're seeing machines and we're seeing pipes and ducts and everything else. But really, the software doesn't know that there is all these assets in there. It just thinks it's just like a bunch of triangles in space. And so we've been building this concept called reality assets, which is basically a construct on top of your 3D mesh environment to break down the space in order to say, okay, well, I'm going to define where my pump is, my duct, my piping, and everything else. And it becomes then searchable, and assets that can define even specific parameters that you want to attach to it. So let's say I want to store information on my pipes about, the type of metal it is made of, the type of inspection that needs to be done on a regular basis, and other things like that. So you can add any form of user data and all that stuff. And that's one of the things we're going to show you as part of that. And we'll show you more things that you can do with reality assets, especially with the new integrations we're doing with Revit and other CAD systems that we've been building. So I guess, yeah, show back the interface. Perfect. So now we're back to the desktop app. And of course, we're building up more and more web capabilities on our product, but the desktop still has more power for heavy lifting of engineering related work, especially in the context of design engineering. When you're looking to change the space and redesign the space and move equipment around, it's definitely more easy on the desktop. And then, like we said before, you're able to share those designs on the web, and then any user in your company using single sign-on can connect and see those projects that you share to your stakeholders and everything else. So what Phil is doing here is really, in a few seconds, defining assets, right? So basically defining multiple boundaries using a simple bounding box system. And we'll show you after that the magic wand. But you can see in a few seconds, we're able to, in a very easy to use interface, to define, okay, this specific panel, electrical panel here, and I want to create that as an asset and then add different properties. I can have like specific information about it, manufacturer's information, warranties, or I want to attach any documents or anything like that. So you can put anything you want from a user perspective. And so that's definitely something. And now you just have a clickable asset into your environment, and that asset can have any form or shape that you want. So it's very flexible as a system.
Yeah, and we also have the magic wand as well, where we can like quickly just click, instead of creating boundaries with boxes, we can just use that tool to click and add more points like this and rotate around the components that we would like to capture. So like this, and the more points I had, the more I can create the assets. And once I'm happy with the shape that I get, I can press next, and it will automatically fit a box around that component.
Multiple boxes, yeah. And that's key, because the key of all the tools we're doing is always give the users full control, right? Sometimes when you start to add AI to solutions, it kind of works, but when it doesn't work, you're in trouble. And one thing we're doing at Preview 3D is that we want to make sure that whatever tools we're building and any AI that we're integrating, like this magic wand, that we're giving you back the control. So you're generating these, selection environments for this asset, but you can come back as a user and re-edit what the AI did, so you're not stuck with something that is not what you're looking for, right? So
Yeah,
for example,
exactly. We
edit
can
the
always go
space.
back and edit the bounds if we need to. We can even add more boxes if we need, like over here. Let's say we want to capture that bottom parts. Like we could easily do it. And we have like a small turntable at the bottom to easily rotate around the equipment and fine tune the boxes if needed.
Exactly. As you can see, it's very easy, simple. Actually, one thing that a lot of our customers tell us is like to learn how to use Preview 3D, it takes a couple of hours. It's very intuitive. Even more with the younger generation that are used to playing games, it's very natural to navigate and operate the software. It doesn't take like weeks to learn on how to do this. And so as you can see here, Phil, in a few seconds, define this specific equipment, and then you can customize it and everything else. And also one thing, I guess we want to maybe do like a quick design layout, or like for here, we can hide it, for example. So now we're showing and hiding different assets. So you can actually isolate specific equipment, but also we can cut them out if we want to create a new design layout. Let's say we wanted to create this and remove this and add something else out there. Like maybe we want to put it like an expansion for the facility, and we want to put a door there or something like that. So you're able to quickly do design layouts in a few minutes instead of days, and then you're able to share that online for your stakeholders to have design reviews and everything else like that. And I see on the comments, Chris Forrun from SDMM is on the line. Hey, Chris, great to see you. Anybody that has questions or want to put comments on the chat, we're definitely looking to get your input, and we're there to answer your questions.
So you can easily cut out reality asset that were defined. You can even copy paste them. So if you would like to do a pre-design analysis and say, okay, let's say we want to duplicate those panels, it's quite easy to see if it does fit or not within your space.
Exactly. And so as you can see here, this just took like a few seconds. Imagine doing that in a typical CAD software. That must take a lot of time just to do exactly that little thing that Phil did in a few clicks.
Yeah, and typically people don't have as much detail for their has-built CAD models. So now we have all the details. You can see like the clashes with the ceilings and things like that. So yeah.
Absolutely. Maybe we want to bring in the 3D avatar just to show, because we've improved greatly the accuracy of our dynamic system, and now even the avatar is more accurate in how it's navigating to the space. So often in the scan, there's like a little floating objects like chains and stuff like that. So before it was very difficult to navigate around that, but now we've improved that, so it's a lot easier to operate. And if you want to simulate a motion of this avatar walking around, you can even like I think zoom out even further. So if you want to see like a dollhouse effect on your environment and show where you're walking. So we've improved a lot of those different controls. For example, here Phil could also if you wanted to clip the ceiling, you could have clipping areas to remove that. If you wanted to create a visual dollhouse effect, these are things that are all possible
We can easily create a clipping box. The clipping box can be used to clip the space, but we can export the content of the box, create ortho photos from those boxes as well. But it can be used to clip the ceiling, like Michel mentioned, and afterwards we can have that dollhouse effect where you can like navigate like this.
So even if you want to, even like we see customers sometimes want to build training material for employees to know how to navigate the space for new employees, or onboarding of people that don't come often, and like virtual tours, virtual visits. So we're always improving how you can explore and navigate. And now with these reality assets, any assets that you have in this space can be tagged and documented. And so for when someone wants to say, I'd like to have my site where I put all my user manuals on all the machinery, I could just define these assets, attach some PDFs, and make that possible.
Yeah, and previously it was not possible, for example, to go through that path. Over here it was too narrow. Now you can easily go in there.
Exactly.
So it's more flexible.
Absolutely. Chris has a question. So can new manufacturer components be imported to the environment? And if so, what type of files are accepted? I think we need to start, Phil, to have a list of what we don't support, because actually we support so many file formats, from typical 3D objects, OBJs, GLBs, to Revit files, to DWG, and so on. We support a large array of different files formats, so you can bring those in, and that can be used for your design layouts.
Yeah, it might be a bit small over here with the share screens, but
Yeah. It's a long list.
yeah.
Right. So like we need to start saying what we don't support. It's going to be faster than start listing everything that we support.
But typically, if you work with any CAD software, we should have a way to import your data inside our software. So if you work
Yeah.
with SolidWorks, Revit, Inventor,
Yeah.
we all support them.
Yeah. Also, we have Brian asking a question, but I need more details from it. Like he's asking if there's an automatic measurement with AI. Not sure what you're asking specifically. So if you can augment to your question with more details, I'd appreciate that. We're more than happy to answer once we know exactly what you're talking about.
Yeah. We do have measurements like the diameter tool.
Yeah, exactly.
It's not using AI, but like it's trying to fit a cylinder around the shape. So you can like measure diameters. We have surfaces, single measurements as well. So
absolutely. So definitely, again, making it all simple to create these measurements. And you see on the right panel, we have the measurements, so they become searchable, and you can share them. And there's even like a teleport too. So if let's say you've done a specific measurement, you can say, okay, you can share that link of that specific measurement, and that will be shareable and accessible on the web platform, for example, as well. So you can actually teleport to any information, either a segmented asset, a reality asset, or a specific CAD model, or a specific measurements, all become accessible with permalink links to the web platform. And of course, yeah, adding different type of robotic objects, and you can do a lot of design work like that. Quickly mock up, like, so that's the one thing where a lot of our customers are doing is like, you have your early in the planning stage of a turnaround, and you want to see certain designs or concepts and how you're going to redesign a specific part of the space, or adapt for new equipment. And with this, you can actually easily cut out equipment, bring in equipment like different CAD models that you might have, and really create in a few minutes a new whole design layout, and then share this with your colleagues, get some comments online, and then accelerate your design iteration process quite a lot from typical workflows.
Yeah, and we have a layout system in place where you can create as many layouts as you want without compromising the original data. So you don't hesitate to create layouts, build multiple scenarios, publish those layouts online, so all your colleagues can review them easily.
Yeah, exactly. One feature we just, well, it's not a feature per se, but it's an improvement, is we're now supporting more languages into the interface. And so once Phil's done with some of these layouts, we used to support English and French, but now we support a whole array of Latin languages, so Spanish, German, Italian, Portuguese, and so on. We are working to add also Asian languages that will come a bit later on this year. But that's another example of small improvements that we're making now. You can, of course, see Spanish. Good luck with that. I'm not going to be able to read that, but yeah, definitely it's cool to see that the interface is.
And it's available under the edit over here, settings, and then you can switch the language over here. So it's a per user settings for now on RealityPlan.
So can the software recognize the floor and automatically display the square meters? Not specifically per se. There's the manual tools that we have. So if you take a top view and you define an area, you can do like a quick measurement of the space like that. So it's not automatic per se, but it's fairly intuitive to do it. And definitely we are able to do that.
One thing I would say is when you are in top view like this, to enable the orthographic view. So this way your floor is flattened and orthographic, and from there you can easily take surfaces like this and close with the first point, and it will give you the square footage. Well, we hit square meter, but you can change the unit as well if you'd like.
Yeah, exactly. You can also like show the perspective view, because that's really useful for people that are into engineering, where they're used to like top front view and perspective.
Yeah, the orbit like
orbit.
This.
Yeah, sorry. Yeah,
where we can
exactly
use top view, front. So you can like pick sides if you would like. And if you create a clipping box, you can also align yourself based on that clip box. So let's say I create like a global clip, and I would like to see, let's say that face over here, the wall right here. I can align it like this. And now if I pick the front view, I will see the wall like this.
So it's very, very easy to use, and gives you a lot of control on how you can view and adapt your data, clip some data, and so on. Scott, I have a question. Yeah, sorry, go on.
And you can also export those view as orthophoto as well. So with the orthophoto tool, if I pick the front view, I can export that face as a DXF that you can bring into other software as well, like AutoCAD, if you'd like to draw on top of it. So it will be a picture with the right scale. And we do have like X-ray mode where you can see and highlight all the edges. So it might help you to update your floor plan.
Absolutely. Peter had a question about able to receive data from third-party APIs. We had done prototypes of that in the past. This is definitely something that's coming sooner into our product. As you see with this definition of reality assets, now we have these asset parameters that can be customizable. And so obviously there's a lot of data that's stored into your ERPs or PLM or operational data systems or other systems of records. And so we are indeed working to add integration with third-party API systems, real-time data, and other enterprise data that will connect to this visual digital twin that we've been building. So maybe it's a good time to show some of the integration we've done with Revit, which is a great example of how we're right now working on improving a lot of the different workflows for engineers. So it's great what we showed you in preview, and people love that. But often we get customers asking, okay, what about that data? Can I bring this, like the point cloud and the meshes and the assets, into my CAD software? Either I need to do some back modeling, or I want to use the data as a reference for my specific CapEx or design engineering projects I'm doing. And so we started to build. And before we used to have a lot of file format support, and we still do, which is great, but it's very cumbersome. If you want to export a mesh, you have to select the part of your mesh, you have to save it in a 3D file format that works in your software. You load it, you realize it's too small or too big, you need to change it again. You go back and forth between our product and this other CAD system. And so we start to build these integrations called RealityConnect. And really it's to simplify the workflow of bringing data between our platform and product into your different engineering tools and other environments. And so you'll see in the coming months a bunch of announcements for different systems. The one we'll show you right now is Revit, but there's more coming with a few other integrations coming very soon that we'll talk about as well. So Philip, I think you had to change your screen for another computer to show the Revit integration. Perfect, excellent, perfect timing. And so here we have this project into RealityPlan, our desktop application. And so I want to bring this data into Revit, right? So I'm going to basically create a connection with Revit. And so from there, what's nice is again, typically people that are dealing with point cloud or meshes are generating in their different software, different versions, different density point cloud or different density meshes, just to be able to handle the data into their Revit environment. And so basically what we've done is an ability to select variable density of your point cloud. So what Phil is going to do here, which is typical best practice that we're suggesting to our customers, start with a first low res version of the point cloud so that you can get it as a reference. And then what's nice in how we've done the integration in Revit is then afterwards, then we're able to select specific areas of the environment and be able to select different densities, basically creating a mosaic of the point cloud or the mesh in different density based on what you're needing. Right? Sometimes you might just need a really rough reference of the point cloud just because you were navigating around your space. And some areas you might need like higher density because you need to do some back modeling, reverse engineering, whatever how you call it, to use that data set. So here we have a very quick load. And again, I can select a section of that and say, okay, now I'm going to take a portion, and now I want a specific area of this facility in a higher resolution because I really need the details at that point. And so it's very intuitive again to do this. And again, you don't have to go through a file format, IO, importing, exporting, generating different things. It's all seamless. And since we're all supporting geolocation, it's all mapped properly into Revit.
Yeah, so over here, what I did is using a section box, I can isolate the part that I'm interested with. We can go back within the plugin over here and clip the scan, and I can change the accuracy of that section.
So now it's going to load a bigger chunk for that specific section, but you have a lot of more control in what you're trying to do. which is great because it's all about control and efficiency for any engineer that's doing their work, right? So that way, you know what you're getting into. You're not loading this massive point cloud, and then you have to suffer in order to get to the right place and clip what you really need. This is a lot more efficient to select what you have.
Yeah, because if we look at the E57 file of that mechanical room, I think it's 70 gigabyte.
Yeah,
So like moving 70 gigabyte all over the place between colleagues and all that, it's quite painful. So now you can like easily only bring what you need basically to do your work. So as you can see now, we do have like a much higher resolution point cloud in that
and you
section.
can, yeah, exactly.
And
You
we can
can bring the
always
rest of,
bring back
yeah.
yeah, exactly.
And now I have different densities depending on what I'm into. So you see here, there's a section that's more dense than the other one. And that's great because now you have full control and this is all customizable. So that's really good. Now, this is still a blob of point cloud. And so, what if we're able to bring in, let's say, a specific piece of equipment? And that's where our reality assets come in as well, right? It's like, and I already had defined a few assets. Maybe we can reuse them right there. So the assets we just created into the demo, we can, come in and say, I want to, or we're going to create a new one. Sure. Okay.
Yeah,
perfect.
Yeah, sure. I can create quickly.
Yeah. Again, a few seconds, very quick. So like, even an intern can do this almost with their eyes closed, right? So very easy to define this asset. And now we need to give it a name. And from there, we're going to go back immediately into Revit. And we're going to go into the load assets section of the plugin. And now I'm going to see this pump that I just defined. This is the fill I just defined on me. And now we can select the density of that specific meshed asset. Here we're loading meshed assets. But now you're going to see this mesh asset appear into the space georeference located to the right place. And I can use either that as a contextual asset that I need as a reference because there's certain things on my design project that are not moving, so that some of the piping and the ducts needs to still there because they don't change, but I still need to have a reference as I'm doing my CAD model. Or I can use this as a CAD asset reference to do my back modeling. This is coming right now as a generic asset into the system, so you can even reuse that as an asset into the environment in Revit. But as you can see here, in a few seconds, we're able to move a pump between preview and Revit without having to do a cumbersome filing, saving a file, loading a file, and back and forth. It's very quick.
Yeah, and once it's created like this, it becomes part of your family objects. So you can go here for now it's under the generics models, and you can find that pump that you just imported. So you can import copy of it if you need to, and you can also edit that family afterward as well. So if you would like to remodel a CAD file based on that mesh, you can do it. So you can edit the family if needed.
Yeah, and a lot easier to deal with a mesh like that than to deal with point clouds for sure.
Yeah, and it's not even possible, I think, to bring the point cloud within the family editor. So now you can reverse engineer the model if you need.
Exactly. Brian had a question about if you have a building with a lot of windows, different sizes, and he's asking about, can we automatically recognize and count the windows? We don't do that right now. We're definitely getting into that area of helping facility manager to do this type of surveying of their space. So the great question, Brian. Definitely, I invite you to talk to one of our account executives, and as we're getting this feature out at some point, that we can work with you in testing it and getting your feedback about it. So yeah, I don't know if there's any other questions about this Revit integration, but as you can see, we've taken great care to make something very easy to use, simple. Again, that's a lot of things we do at Preview that are simple but powerful. Gives you a lot of control, simplify the whole process of bringing, point cloud or meshes, reality capture data into Revit, and to enable these different workflows into Revit and other systems that we're building right now. So I don't know if there's anybody that want to comment on is there other CAD system that you're using that you'd like to see happening like we've done for Revit? I put in the chat the type of CAD system that you're using that you'd like us to support. We're definitely doing a lot of these integrations right now. There's more surprises happening in the near future per se. One thing that we didn't show, which is actually a new feature, I just realized, like so these assets now that we're creating on the desktop, how do you make those selectable on the web, right? So before we just had an environment that you can navigate around and see design layouts, but you couldn't select the assets. Now we just added in this release the ability to go on the web and to click on the assets. So anything you've done is definitely an area that we've been improving on. And yeah, hey Richard, I see Richard's asking for E3D or S3D similar functionality. Definitely, we're looking into that. E3D is a bit limited on the SDK API integration, so we're definitely looking ways in addressing that for different systems. That's for sure.
Great. So yeah, you see my screens now.
Yeah, absolutely.
So we have a small example over here that showcase the possibility to select asset now on the web. So we'll just load over here the layout number 1. So for the design projects that you create, you can always create multiple layouts, as we discussed earlier. You can publish them on the web and they become accessible. They are shareable as well, so you can like easily create share link to your colleagues, and you can access them quite quickly. So I will jump over here and show you that new panel that allow you to select assets.
We've also been improving the load time for layouts. It's obviously when you have like very large layouts, it used to take a bit more time, or we're definitely improving that as well. So here, I think Phil's going to show you like assets that we've created, right? Exactly.
So now we can see on the left side panel here all the assets that were created. If I click on any of those assets, it will teleport me towards those assets, and you can view the properties of that assets that was created. So here, for example, we have the panel number 1. We have the electric diagram that is attached to that panel, the voltage functions. So it's to power the boiler, for example. And you can like click between those different assets to teleport towards.
Yeah.
So now it's quite easy, and you can also share a link toward that asset to a colleague. So let's say you want to point out that panel to someone. You can over here come and copy the link, send it over email or like Teams or whatever communication software you are using, and you can copy paste it within the bar or click on the link, and it will guide you toward that assets.
Yeah, and obviously to access this, you need to have the proper user access and permissions, and we do support single sign-on, so there's all this enterprise security that we have. So it's definitely a secured environment for sharing assets like that. Obviously, here we're using our own internal instance, so we're all approved to access, so that's why it works for us. But any company can set up their security the way they wanted to secure their data sets.
Yeah, exactly. If I were to share that link to Michelle, for example, Michelle would require access to that project first of all. And as you can see, I just open the link and automatically I'm teleported toward that asset.
Good stuff. I think that's pretty much what we want to show. Anything that we didn't show, Phil, that we think we need to show at this point? Or that was a pretty good
Well, I think it's
summary.
all we had to share. Is there any other questions?
Yeah, last questions. Don't be shy. Cool. Well, thank you everyone for listening into this new additional webinar we've done. There's more coming. We have a lot of great features in the next couple of months. Exciting stuff, more features from the engineering world and more things towards maintenance operations as well. That's coming down the funnel. So thank you very much for attending. And if you have any questions, feel free to contact us. All of our account executives are more than happy to assist you. And feel free to go to our website. We have a lot of information, use cases, and other things there. Looking forward to hear about you and how we can help you with your different engineering projects and beyond. Thank you, Phil, for all the demos. Really cool stuff.
Thank you.
Okay. Bye-bye.
Have a good day, guys.